Hello, my friends. Thank you for joining us again. Hello, Susanna.
Hi, Abram.
Before we begin, let me offer this. You can ask a person, are you religious? They might say yes. You can ask another person, are you religious? They might say, well, no, but I am spiritual. You know how religious people are. You know what they are. They follow their religion. They honor a God. They attend their church of worship. Spiritual people, you might question, what does he mean? What does she mean? He is spiritual, she is spiritual, but not religious. Could mean a few different things. You have gurus, men of high esteem, women of high esteem, people who really appear to know what they are talking about. You might have someone barefoot, white robes, white turban, a guru, who says many things, but they are all untruths. Then you have a bum, homeless, living on the street, who might say just a few words that hold a lot of truth. So who is to say what spirituality really is and means? And who is to say what being spiritual means? We will find out today. Thank you. What do we have, Susanna?
A lot of questions.
All right.
All right, so it seems obvious that human beings are born with some kind of drive within them to look for spirituality, religion, atheism even, all sorts on the spectrum. And it seems that we are born with, and I'll say true spirituality, not manufactured spirituality, but true spirituality within us. No matter what we believe, everyone believes in something. Whether, like I said, whether it's nothing, and then like an atheist, that we're just here, we're just biological, it's the luck of the draw, and nothing happens to us when we die. We just disappear. And so would you talk about this spirituality, this, I'll say, true religion, true spirituality, true religion is what is within us. Would you like to explain a little bit more about that?
Thank you. You are born a human being. You are born of and with a spirit, an essence, an energy. As you are, just as you are, no matter who you are, you can understand that you are spiritual right now. Being spiritual does not mean that you are supposed to act and talk in a certain way, believe in a certain way. Since everything comes back to you, because it all begins and it all ends within you, having faith and belief in yourself is being spiritual enough. There is a bit more to it. When you look at what makes someone spiritual, spiritual is a term for knowing the self. And there are ways to know the self, different ways. One way is to have love for the self. Have love for other people. And that does not mean that you have to love other people. No. But there will be certain people in your life that you will love, yes. certain people that you will not want to associate with, you do not like. That is just fine. That is human nature. Loving the self is simply knowing what you are and why you are. So why are you? You are to be the creator of your reality. Your reality holds truth. It also holds untruth, and it is up to you to decide the difference. What is truth? What is untruth? And begin living more by truth, the truth of and in your reality. And that truth in your reality comes from you, because again, it all begins and it all ends within you. So as you create your reality, you create the truth and the untruth in and of it. Having faith and belief in the self and in nature is being spiritual. Having faith and belief. What do you believe in? How do you believe? Check your belief structure. What do you believe in? How do you believe in the things that you believe? You might want to make a few changes, a few minor changes. Because certain beliefs can hold you back and hold you down from being the creative self that you really are. So, should you find those beliefs that hold you back, hold you down, simply change them by practicing a new pattern. And that will create a new belief about yourself. One more thing about being spiritual, and this is the biggest one. Always be responsible for all that you create. Always. Do not blame someone else for something. If you happen to do something that is not of high integrity, accept the responsibility, but do not punish yourself. Do not have guilt. Just change your mode of action. Begin acting in a different way. People like to talk about spiritual things and I can do this for you and follow me and you will follow the way and there is only one way and that way is me. And when you hear that, run and run quickly. And bring it all back to yourself because, again, it all begins and it all ends within you, the spiritual you. Thank you.
Perception, a person's perception and their personal belief in what is spiritual and how they believe they should act and profess their spirituality. When we had a meetup group many years ago, we had someone leave the group because she didn't think Tom was spiritual enough. Someone who has that idea, they're not going to be that fast to be self-aware enough to take a look at their own beliefs. And when we come across someone like that, we just say, have a nice day.
That is all you can say. You cannot say, hey, you better change.
We wouldn't do that anymore.
You are blaming someone from not being spiritual enough. You better watch your mouth. You cannot say things like that. You can just say, thank you. Have a nice day. I love you. You don't really have to love that person. But tell the person that you have love for him or for her. That is really about all you can do. What else, my friend?
Well, there are a lot of spiritual teachers, a lot of gurus, and this goes through spiritual teachers, yoga teachers, everything. I mean, if you've watched any of the documentaries of people that have been outed, so to speak, for their so-called spiritual practices, and this happens more with men, but women are certainly in there also. It's not a 50-50 thing. I would say maybe 70-30, generously. And there are a lot of pitfalls. What if someone gets to a point where they want to be a spiritual teacher? And they want to be a yoga teacher and teach yoga and along with spirituality. A lot of people, and there are many examples of well-known people who have kind of gone off the track because they need to stay relevant, and so they end up compromising themselves in small ways to keep themselves relevant, keep up with the times and people's beliefs, even if that goes against their own personal beliefs. And there are a lot of pitfalls, and some of these spiritual leaders that have been caught for many different things are usually narcissists. And they're a lot of times, and this goes through the whole wellness community, yoga teachers, everybody, mediums channels, everybody, that a lot of people who haven't taken care of their own stuff, unresolved traumas, are going to project those traumas on other people. Abram, there's always pressure when someone puts themselves out there. There's always, and a teacher and becomes very popular, there's a lot of pressure to be perfect all the time. And that's just one of the things that people generally expect. Then comes the power that people get and the corruption that follows, and their control and their influence. And like you said, a lot of teachers will say, I have the truth and only the truth, and I'm the only one that can help you and show you the way. So if someone wants to become a spiritual teacher, what would you say to that?
This is so very easy, and I will give you a very short, sweet, and to the point answer. And this is the only answer that can be given. If you want to become a spiritual teacher, you have to. And this time, I use the words have to in a positive, loving way. If you want to become a spiritual teacher, you have to become the spiritual student. Otherwise, do something else. Now, let me backtrack to the individual who said Tom was not spiritual enough and she left. Good. Everyone is spiritual in his or her own way. Everyone. Everyone. Even the least spiritual person. But again, what is being spiritual? What is spirituality? Who really knows? Tom is spiritual in his way. At the same time, he claims to be nothing more than a kid from Chicago, and this is all he will ever be. You are who, what, and why you are, and this is all you will ever be. All of you, Susanna included, all of you. But knowing who, what, and why you are is the point. Because when you know who, what, and why you are, then you can be who, what, and why you are. And that is being spiritual also. And yes, there are all of those spiritual wise guys and teachers and lofty individuals and people with their head in the clouds, not knowing what is happening on the earth, and they will flap their lips and say this and that, and this is how you have to be, and this is what you can say, what you cannot say, what you can follow, what you cannot follow. You can only follow me because I only know the way, and you can only eat these foods and do not eat those foods. And stop it. Take a look at what you are doing. Bring it all back to you. Stop telling people who they are, what they are, why they are. Stop telling people what they cannot do, what they can do, who they need to follow, who they should not follow, what they could eat, when to sleep, when not to sleep, what not to eat, and all the rest. Stop it. Bring it all back to you and figure out who, what, and why you really are. Because when you do that, you will really find your own spirituality. Now, for all of you looking at your internet and finding all of these guru-like people, some of them are very good, very authentic. Some of them are not. So when you want to find a spiritual teacher, feel their truth. And when they speak, you are emotionally capable of feeling their truth or untruth. When they speak truth, you will have an easy feeling in your stomach area. When they speak untruth, you will have an unease within you. You want to be a spiritual teacher? Be the spiritual student. Learn all you can about yourself. Not spirituality, but yourself. Because, here we go again, it all begins and it all ends within you. And you are more than able to become a spiritual teacher. But at the same time, be the spiritual student. And above all else, as I have said, I will say it again, because this is most important. Be responsible for all that you create. And I mean all that you create. What else, my friend?
That's all I have.
That is all I have. I love all of you. Find the time to stop listening to news, stop watching news, find the time to be with yourself. Even if you are just sitting around doing nothing, just be with yourself. Or do something, go out in nature. Talk to trees, talk to flowers, talk to plants, talk to grass, talk to your planet Earth. If this sounds crazy to you, then may I suggest you do something? Think about where you came from. Because where you came from is all about the gods, nature, and love. And when you think about that, if you would like to think about that, if you can feel it in you, you are winning the game. I've enjoyed this today, my friends. Enjoy your day. You don't have to do something spiritual, just be yourself. Because being yourself is being spiritual. Thank you. Thank you, Susanna.
Thank you, Abram. Thank you, everyone.